Hey, what's up, Granddaddy? We're here at Springdale Golf Club. This is our home club at school, and I thought it'd be fun to show you around our facility. So, welcome to the Princeton Golf Facility. Okay. So here we are. This is the little home of Princeton Golf. We've got our little living space in here. None of us live down here, but we spend a lot of time down here, that's for sure. A little space to do some homework. We've got a fridge and a kitchen area so we can hang out and have some food. This is just some couches and stuff. Over here, yeah, I see the old bags. Then we got some couches where we just hang out, watch some TV, and yeah, I'll bring you into our lockers next and show you where I keep all my clubs. I lost my pillow. Alright, you ready? Alright, Granddaddy, so this is what's known as our hitting bays and our lockers. So we got the women's team's lockers right behind you, and then right here is the men's lockers. So bring you over here. Here's my name tag, right there. And then we got our lockers with our shoes, and then we keep our clubs in here. So yeah, this is our little home base, and then I'll show you how the bays work. So these are our mats that we'll get off of, and then this guy just opens right up. And then we're able to hit out into the range. This is our little practice range here. As you can see to the left, we have a little bunker and short game area. We're going to take you over there in a second, but I just wanted to give you a good look as to how we use the facility. Yeah, and so we'll get the clubs out and we'll show you a few shots. Are you videoing? Like, should I be talking through this?
Yep.
This is just a little warm up I do for my hips. It gets me properly warmed up and decompresses. You know, doing a ton of sitting and stuff like that at school, it's really easy for me to get really tight in my hip flexors and in that whole area, but like you need to have a ton of mobility for golf in those areas. So this just helps me get loosened up. So I usually do this a few times before we start hitting. So yeah, it's a good one.
Start.
All right, so I just wanted to take you through my warm-up real quick. This is some of the other stuff I do before I start hitting. So that first one where I was on the ground is like a slow warm-up, but then I'll just do a couple of actual calisthenics I do. So I kind of just start with some swinging legs. This again just gets the hip flexors going and also gets the hamstrings, both of which are pretty important in golf. So you do a front one, and then we do a side one. This just gets that rotation going. So do probably 5 in both way. Get both legs. Sideways. This one's really good for just getting the hamstrings, getting the blood flow in the legs. Then we'll do a little rotational one. So I'll set up in pretty much a golf stance, and then I work on rotating my shoulders while keeping the legs pretty steady. So you see I'm not really moving my lower body at all, I'm just rotating my shoulders. And then I'll do the same thing, just rotating my legs. But you'll see, my shoulders aren't really moving much. And I use this stick as a way to see if it starts doing this, I know I'm not doing it right. But if the stick stays pretty steady, and I'm just moving my hips, I know I'm getting that disassociated movement. Then I'll just do some lunges, also a little twist. It just gets me engaging the muscles a little bit. Both legs. This right side's always a little bit more difficult for me, so I have to spend a little time. You can see I'm a little less stable on this right side. This last three are pretty good. Then what I'll do, similar to the one I was just doing, but I lean and then twist. This is more of a full range of motion for me, which is really important for my sport. Really works on that hip mobility. Do a couple sets of these. And then we'll get the wrists and the forearms. This really gets the shoulders and all those little muscles in your arms warm, so you can have those wrist mobilities. And then after that, just a few swings, just to get the body loose. This is a little speed stick training aid that I use. You can add weights to it if you want. There's no weights on it right now. I actually do some lefty swings too, the other side of the muscles. Now we're ready to hit some balls. So now that I'm getting into hitting a few, I'll show you just a little thing I can set up, so if you want to just come a little closer. What we've got going here is two little alignment rods. The first one is running parallel to where I'm aiming, and then this second one is running perfectly perpendicular. So this orange guy is used for ball position. So when I set up, I want this to, depending on the club, so since this is a sand wedge, this is sort of middle, maybe a little back in the stance. That's pretty standard for a sand wedge, versus when I get up to like a mid iron or a driver, it'll be more in the front. So that just helps me get a good sense for where my ball position is. And then I try to keep the tips of my feet running parallel to this stick, and then that way I know my lines are all going to be set up where I want them. So that just helps me get a sense of if all of my lines are set up right, and then I'll just start swinging. So I'll hit a couple balls like this, just get a sense for if I'm lined up right, if everything feels where like it should be. These fundamentals, regardless of what level you're at, always are important to work on. So then after I hit a few sand wedges or something like that, so that was a 54-degree wedge, that's my sand wedge. I'll move up to something like a mid iron, so I'll hit like a couple 8 irons. Same thing, this ball position, you'll notice for my sand wedge, I was like there, so this orange thing was a little bit in the back. Now for an 8 iron, I'll move it to just in front of middle. And again, same thing, just working on getting my alignment right, getting that posture feel right. Those things are super important. Let me just hit some balls. You good? The same thing, you can see it from the other end. Now you can really see how this alignment rod is telling me where to point my feet. One thing I'm working on is really trying to keep connected. I want my arms and my body to move at the same pace on the way back. So I don't want my arms to go and then turn, or I don't want to turn and then pull my arms. I just want everything to move at once. So that's really what I'm working on. Yeah, that one went pretty straight, Granddad. Not gonna lie. And so yeah, I'd probably hit a few more 8 irons or something like that. Then I'll move up to something like a wood. So now I'm hitting a 3-wood, hit a couple 3-woods for you. So same thing, now I've got that ball position pretty far forward. And what's great about this setup with the alignment rods, I can use it for every club, because I want to know I'm lined up right and I want to know my ball position for each club I'm using. It's the same thing here now with the 3-wood, still focusing on posture, still focusing on just making everything feel like it's moving in unison. Same thing. That posture right. Alignment. That one went pretty straight. So that's usually a pretty standard hit some balls, warm up for a round, and now we'll show you a little chipping and a little putting outside. All right, Granddaddy, so now we're over at our chipping green. If you look back there, you can get a sense for where we just were. We were hitting out of that bay. Now we just walk outside and we got a little chipping area. So, I'll just show you a little technique that I'm working on. These ones are, the ones that you want to try to get up and down every time. You got a nice lie, flex, pretty normal spot. So I'm really just working on that contact, trying to get it to come out nice and smooth. Get this baby up and down. Yeah, these are the green, so make sure that your short game's feeling good. That one's a little better. So then I'll switch over to the longer one. Same thing though, even though this one's a little longer, so I'm going to get this guy up and down. Save those rounds. That one was pretty good right there. Get one more. Mess around with this one. I'm going to try to hit this one a little lower. Yeah, it's pretty standard short game shots here. We'll hit a few out of the bunker, usually throw some in the rough, but yeah, that's a good little spot for us to work on short game. Now we'll show you some putting. So when it's cold in the winter right now, greens are a little too slow outside to get much putting practice done. But luckily we've got a little setup inside here with some AstroTurf and a hole where we can really work on the putting. So we got this putting stick set up here. Basically the idea is I put the ball down on the stick and then I can work on my setup with the stick pointing towards the hole. So I'll set up to the ball and then I can get a sense for if my club face is closed or open. And then also get in here, check my alignment. And then the idea is if I hit it correctly, that ball is just going to roll down the stick the whole time. So that time it fell off a little bit to the left a little early. So that means I pulled it just a hair. Then I'll just get back in here. Same thing. Make sure my setup looks good. See if I can get this one to go a little straighter down the line. So same thing. So it gives you good feedback because now I know I'm pulling them a little bit. So then what I can do is I can go away from the stick and just work on trying to feel that I don't pull these. So I'll get in here and really focus on making sure that that comes off down the line. So this thing's pretty good feedback for us in the winter when can't do much else. So yeah. All right, so another cool thing I wanted to show you is this bag that we use as the team. A couple years ago, one of our seniors decided that it'd be cool if we had a military tribute bag. And he got put in contact with First Lieutenant Victor Edward Prado. He was in the 82nd Airborne Division of the Army. He was a Princeton football player. I think he graduated around 2016. And then he got deployed to Afghanistan. And unfortunately, on a route clearing mission, was hit by a suicide truck bomber. And he almost lost his life, but he was actually awarded the Purple Heart for his service. And so with him being a Princeton alum, we thought it'd be really cool to set up a bag to tribute his service. And so as you can see, it's got his name and division and all that on there. Then it's got our Princeton crest and then an American flag. And so as a team, what we do is every time we play in an event, we trade off the honor of getting to carry his back. So it's a pretty cool thing that we do, and we're gonna continue to do it. So it's a pretty cool honor. All right, Granddaddy, so last thing I wanted to show you, this is our simulator room. We're still in the same building that we started off. This is just an adjacent room we have. Since we're in the Northeast, we have to have a facility like this to be able to like actually feel like we can play some golf when it's really cold and there's snow on the ground. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there. So what this is a simulator, and I'll just give you a quick peek into how this works. Basically, we got this mat here, and the screen is set up. We're on the range right now in the simulator. So what you can do is you can get in here and you can make a full swing, you know, nice high ceilings and all that. So I'll get in here and put a swing in, and it hits the screen. But then you'll see, I just got to see the whole ball fly, the depth perception and everything, and then it gives me all the yardages and everything as to how far that went. And so it's a pretty good tool. I'd say it's pretty close to accurate, and you know, it's when it's really cold and snowing outside, the fact that we can still get some swings in, it's pretty cool, and just helps us stay competitive. So I hope you enjoyed your little tour in our facility down here. It's pretty special. Very happy to be here, and glad I could show it to you.